So just a couple notes. In Sacramento County, Latino population is the second largest ethnic group at 28% of our population. Did you know that? Did you know that? 32% of that population is 45 and under, which means we have a lot of opportunity for our community, right? We have a lot of opportunity for leadership, and we have a lot of opportunity in say. And how we say is through our vote. So keep that in mind. How you show up at the polls and how you encourage others to show up at the polls is really important. One of the things I do, I have 5 children, and I feel it's my responsibility to get my children to vote. I feel it's my responsibility to get them there. And so one of the things I did when my kids were turning 18 is I gave them the voter registration form. And I said, you need to sign up to vote. Because all of us can talk about everything that's not working right, and all of us can talk about what everyone is doing wrong. But the better thing is to do 2 things. 1, represent yourself through your vote, because that's your say. And secondly, get involved, take action. United Latinos is a group that brings together individuals that are concerned about our representation in the community and our ability to vote. Get involved with them, become a member. It helps them to be successful, it helps our community to be successful. So we're going to start off now with hearing from some of our candidates. If I can please ask everybody, if you haven't yet, just check, because sometimes I think I do it and I actually didn't. Silence your phones, please. So that way when our speakers are up here, we don't want to break their train of thought. Because I know being up here and speaking to a group of people, particularly when you're a candidate, can be very nerve-wracking, and we want to make sure that they're able to focus on the key issues that they want to bring forward and that they want us to hear from them. We don't want to distract them with phones, okay? And also the other thing I want to ask each of you is to think of questions that you think are important to ask of our candidates, because this is your opportunity to see them for who they are and to be able to have that dialogue with them. So think of those questions that you might want to ask. So we're going to start off this morning with our Yolo County Board of Supervisors. The first individual that's going to speak is Norma Alcala, and she was born in Brownsville, Texas. You really want me to tell me your birthday?
Just not the year.
Okay. She was born in April. Oh, April 29th. Okay, so she has a birthday coming up. At age 5, her family moved to Broderick, California, where she attended Holy Cross. She graduated in 1979. Do the math. In high school, she started her leadership at a very early age, because in high school, she was student body president. So at that point in time, she already realized that she needed to be a voice, that she needed to speak up. And that's great that leadership emerges that early. During the summers, she worked as a waitress and cleaned houses to supplement the family income. How many of you had jobs early in your life? Raise your hands. Good to see. She entered the Sisters of Mercy convent in June 1979 and loved the Sisters of Mercy. In 1980, she left and then entered the University of California at Davis. In her senior year, she stopped going to college and began working to support her family. How many of you had your college interrupted because you had to work, that you weren't able to continue on work? But the important thing is she persevered, and she made sure that she kept the end of the road, the tunnel, in mind. On March 18, 2014, the Sacramento Central Labor Council endorsed Norma for the June 3rd, 2014 election for Yolo County Supervisor District, number 1. On March 17th, she became the officially endorsed candidate of the California Democratic Party. On March 9th, at the annual Democratic Party convention, John Burton bestowed the prestigious Trend Center Award upon Norma. Congratulations. In February, UC Davis students honored her with the 2014 award. In November, the Yolo County Consiglio named Norma as the Outstanding Woman of the Year. She's had many awards. I think we're pretty lucky today to hear from her. In 2013, the Latino Democratic Club of California honored her as the Outstanding Woman of the Year. On December 2013, the River City Democrats named her as an Outstanding Democrat of the Year. Now, if they're going to name you as Outstanding Democrat, I'm assuming it has to do with your leadership. Is that right? Because you're a great leader? She has also served on the Yolo Grand Jury. Please help me in welcoming Norma.
Justice Cruz Reynoso, and all of you for your strong support. You have been fantastic. I decided to run for Yolo County Supervisor because I believe Yolo County deserves a full-time supervisor. Now, no disrespect to my opponents, but right now he is holding down 2 full-time government jobs and receiving 2 full-time government salaries. He makes $100,000 with the Department of Corrections. I'm sorry. He makes $100,000 with the Department of Corrections, full-time job, and he's also getting $100,000 Board of Supervisors. That's not a part-time job; it's a full-time job. They meet every other Tuesday from 9 to 5, and each member sits on at least 15 committees. I also opposed my opponent on the tunnels. He was appointed by Governor Brown because he supports bringing those huge, gigantic tunnels that will take all our water and our jobs down south. They're going to destroy the Delta, and what they're going to do immediately in my economy is they're going to take $9 million out of our rice growers. It's not just the rice growers, it's all the people who package the rice as well as the pork workers. And right now, in West Sacramento, we have 14.7% unemployment. Back in 2005, it was at 7.2. 14.7, that's a national disgrace. I mean, we're right in there with Stockton, Bakersfield, areas in Kern. It's not right. We need to bring good jobs into the area. And that's where I come in. I am a small business owner. I know what it takes to bring business into an area. I also worked for the California legislature for 9 years on both sides of the aisle. I worked with Republicans and I worked with Democrats. Finally, when the governor appointed my opponent, there are 5 men now on that board and no women. Folks, women live in Yolo County too. We contribute a lot to our families, we contribute a lot to our communities. And if we're not at the table, folks, we're not in that conversation. So, I have to tell you, I've had an incredible response. I've been precinct walking. I've had 40 volunteers show up to do walking for me and telephone banking. I see some of them here, and I know I'm going to see some of them later. So I want to thank you again for hosting this forum. And I'd like to also say that some of the endorsements that I have received were both Democrats, both my opponent and I, but I did receive the endorsement of the California Democratic Party. I've also received the endorsement of Dave Jones, who is the Insurance Commissioner, Congressmen Ami Vera and John Garamendi, Dolores Huerta, Supreme Court Justice retired, Cruz Reynoso, and Joe Cardozo, one of the mayors of Davis, which is the major city in Yolo County. So I want to thank you very much, and if you have any questions. Oh, real quickly, I just also got the Sierra Club endorsement, as well as SEIU, and the Retired Teamsters. Oh, and Central Labor Council, amongst others.
There we go. I have a question. So Norma, well, let's speak loud. So you told us a little bit about what your opponent is not doing or shouldn't be doing. Tell us what you're going to do for Yolo County.
Well, one of the things that I have been doing is I've been having a lot of conversations with people out in the Bay Area. One of my friends out there is Gloria Hernandez, who's the superintendent of schools. She's done some tremendous things. She has the Ravenswood School District, which is in East Palo Alto. And that's predominantly a lot of Latinos out there. She has, through collaboration, been able to get all those students computers that never have happened before. She's been able to partner with a lot of businesses that are now making repairs on those schools. You need people who are willing to take a progressive step. That's what I'm trying to do. I have been talking with people in the Bay Area. I have a tremendous friend out there, I don't see her right now, Angelica Telechea, who also has some wonderful connections out in the Bay Area. And what I have been doing is inviting them to come out to Yolo County. And they've been very nice, but you know, it's just an invitation from an individual. As a supervisor, that carries a lot of weight. That would be something entirely different. One of the reasons people would want to come out, let me tell you first, when people say California has good jobs, they're all in the Bay Area, folks. We need to bring those jobs out into the different areas. And Yolo County, I mean, we're less than 100 miles away. And that's one of the things we can do, Mauricio. I've also talked with Linda Tacati. She is the chancellor over at UC Davis. had a wonderful conversation with her about how we can bring jobs into the area. There are over 100,000 high-tech jobs that can be brought in, but people right now don't have the skills that they need. Well, a lot of these businesses are willing to bring their own people to train individuals. I know SETA has a wonderful program in Sacramento. We need to do more of that in Yolo County. When Campbell Soup workers, when Campbell Soup was closed, what they did is they put them in through the SETA program, Sacramento Employment and Training Agency, and they were able to retrain individuals to get good paying jobs. And that's one of the problems I have with Yolo County. In Yolo County, we have 14.7% unemployment because the jobs we have are not good. They're all minimum wage jobs, they're the Walmart jobs, they're the jobs that we have in the fast food industries. Entire families are suffering. I deal with a lot of these families in the Latino community in the church that I come from, but I've also been out there and talking to the Russians in our area as well as the Sikh community, and I also got endorsed by the business owners, the East Indian business owners. They own most of the motels. Now, what their great fear is that they may try and gentrify the area. We heard the mayor talking about how much wasted land there was in the city of the state address. Well, those are business owners that actually live on their properties and provide the only affordable housing that we have for families that are holding down 2 or 3 minimum wage jobs to make a living for their families and make sure their children go to school. So Mauricio, those would be some of the things I think partnerships are really important. I've seen it work. I have wonderful connections out in the Bay Area. I have great friends who can facilitate a lot of this partnering, and that's what needs to be done. You have to bring labor into it. You have to bring these titans of industry, and you have to bring the educational factor, but you also have to bring the people that it's affecting. You have to. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and address another question.
I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh, it's okay.
James Sabrito, I'm a faculty member here. But more importantly, I'm a former resident of Yolo County. Am I correct, Davis is part of Yolo County?
Yes, it is. It's not going to be in my district, but yes, you're correct.
Okay. Then perhaps my question. Interesting. How does Yolo County balance those two worlds? Because, Davis is kind of a strange world. And then next door you have Woodland, which has a tremendous amount of opportunities for growth. But you mentioned some of the challenges that it has. I'm just wondering how they balance those two worlds.
Right. I was going to say one of the things that the Board of Supervisors does, of course, they deal with a lot of zoning. And of course, the budgets, it's a big issue right there. And yes, when you look at these different little hamlets that we have, Davis is very different. You have the university there, and then Woodland is still has that down home feel, but we've seen it growing, and that's eventually what's going to happen. I mean, we have the Williamson Act out there to protect us from the urban sprawl, but we have 5 supervisors out there that I know really want to do the right thing by their communities. Unfortunately, I think sometimes people have a tendency, because they've been on the board so long, have a tendency to stagnate. So I think it's really important to get someone who has more progressive ideas. And when I was working at the state capitol, we used to have what they called the mod squad. We had Democrats and Republican leaders. And they were pro-business people, and they were fantastic in promoting jobs in California, not just their own districts. So I think when you want truly to benefit your community and really act as a public servant, you're open to new ideas, and you're willing to allow a lot of people to give you input. And that's what I'm planning on doing when I'm elected supervisor. I plan on having a community benefits board with everyone at the table. Any other questions? Okay, thank you so much.